Hey, so I'm running a quick test here of the Canon 70-200 CN-E Zoom on the Blackmagic Studio Cam 4K. This is the G1, not the G2, so it doesn't have all the cellular or web-connected functionality for internal streaming and such. But this thing is on the Metabones CN-E. Let's see if I can focus on that. There we go, on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K Speed Booster 0.71 because it's APS-C compatible, but I also tried out the passive filter, and both of those are running version 4.0 on the adapter, I believe. And then the camera firmware, it's beginning of January 2024 when I'm recording this. And so the firmware is on 8.2. I think the latest thing is like 8.5, but for this camera specifically, it only installs 8.2. And so I just want to show compatibility with the zoom and focus demands. So we've got iris at auto, we got auto focus on for that functionality, got the stabilizer off. And we're USB-C from the zoom demand into the A port and from the focus demand into the B port. And then I also have the stock Canon zoom demand to show the difference here. It's got to hit this Zacuto Y cable breakout before it goes into the remote port. But if we look, the zoom demand does work from Blackmagic, but it only operates at one speed. There's no sort of easing as you, or input acceleration, that as you push harder on it, it does more, and as you do it more gradually, it does less. And so I can try and show this, both of these in the shot, that no matter how little I do this, it's just on or off. And the speed of that zoom is dictated by that little knob here, this one. Let's see if I can focus again. Jeez. Hello. By this guy. So you can speed that up, but this could just be a problem if you're needing some difference of dramatic zooms and whatnot. Also, this speed knob does not do anything. If you crank this all the way up, it makes no difference. If you have it all the way down, it makes no difference. And then I also poked through the settings for this on here, and nothing in these settings seems to change anything as well. So that's unfortunate. But the focus demand works great. The focus demand is very accurate. You can hear the lens doing its thing. But yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. But the stock Canon one does still have that input acceleration, so I can go very quick or I can go very slow with those zooms. The other thing that I thought was interesting with this pairing, one is I'm using the 0.71 adapter, so it's trying to do some math conversion, and this camera only lists out f-stops instead of t-stops, so it considers everything in that form factor. So it's taking the numerical value of the t-stops and just reading that out as f-stops. So it's probably not accurate f-stops of what it's reading, but what I think is interesting is as you zoom in, it shows that it's ramping down. This lens has a constant aperture of T4.4 all the way through, but it shows that it's ramping down as it goes. The reason it shows T3.1 too is because I'm using that 0.71 adapter. If I put on just the passive adapter with no glass element in it, it does show 4.4. But I just thought it was weird. I feel like that's something with the firmware of the lens itself, and I don't know how to update that. But this is something that it's just kind of interesting that it shows that value is changing, even though it's not what your maximum available aperture is. Because see, once we're zoomed in, I can't adjust that any further. But when I'm zoomed out, you've got the full thing. This performs really well. The Blackmagic's development of how smooth this adjusts. So that integration for the iris control is really nice. You might also be able to hear when I zoom on this. Wrong one. At its fastest speed, you can hear the servo a little bit. So if you're in a really, really quiet environment, that's something to consider, but it's really not that loud. So yeah, those are just some findings when using the CN-E lenses. That I would imagine this would be the same for the 18 to 80, but these pretty awesome APS-C zooms. I do wish, it seems like these are rehouse of the Canon 70 to 200 f4. If they did a rehouse of the f2.8, just for those extra couple stops of light, that'd be an amazing product in the future. But I think it's a good pairing for these cameras. I would love to test out sometime now with the new version that's EF native, how well this lens would perform on that without a Metabones converter in the middle, and if the zoom demand would then have the easing as a part of it. So maybe something someone else can try out. Maybe I'll get to do that one day, but hopefully this video can point someone in the right direction, as there's very little info on this specific combination and setup of what it's like to make this happen. Hope this is helpful. Later.